We me. Routinely hold court with various jinns, fae folk in the entirely imagined, completely fabricated schizo delusion that has been my persistent reality for about a decade now. Chat with a number of them now and again. Some are pretty chill. Others are more reminiscent of scripted servitors. Can never really be sure whom you're talking to most days. Threepenny Arcade and all that. Chat with some more than others, ask one then what he does. He tells me, balance can be adjusted. Can't recall what I said in response. Probably something like oh yeah? I'm in, show me. Hear the hooks click securely into place at my hips. He wasn't kidding. What he didn't specify is whether or not it's adjusted to your benefit. We have a blast doing workouts together now. I stand on my head doing inverted sit-ups/leg lifts, he tries to throw me off balance. Totally understand how some of those next-level break dancers can do their stunts now. Helps to have not-so-visible friends that can exert kinetic force. The whip hand is strong. He routinely calls friends up to have them join him in trying to topple me. They're all coordinated like circus stage hands, all 1, 2, 3, and whatnot. I laugh at them, remind them I can hear them. This makes them nervous. They're getting really good working with me doing skill tosses, make local physics go all wonky. Asked why so hidden all the time? He responded, if you noticed me, and focused your attention on me, it'd be impossible for me to concentrate and do what I do. Makes sense, I guess. Asked him if he were larger, more massive, would his abilities scale? He wasn't sure, said he can't recall the last time he was less than the size of a breadcrumb. Asked him if he'd like to find out. He's all wait, what? You know people that can unshrink us? Of course. Did you not want to be shrunk? He says many got made really tiny in exchange for their powers. No such thing as a non-Faustian bargain, indeed. Be me in 8th grade. My dad took the screen off of my bedroom window to try to scale into his room and never put it back on. I'd sit on the little roof outside my window because I thought it made me look cool. Almost fell and died like 10 times because it's so narrow. Sitting on it one night texting my friend. Completely dark outside besides the light from my room and phone. My room faces the backyard and I can see into my neighbor's yards on both sides. My neighbor on the right fully terraformed his backyard into a huge garden even though we live in a desert. My backyard is legit just rocks and dog shit. He has this giant tree slightly left to the middle of his yard. I looked over in his yard cause I thought I heard my neighbor down there. There's a white dude up in the tree staring at me. My neighbor is black and his wife is Mexican. I can only see the guy's face because the body's pitch black. Looks like his face is more of a mask than anything but it's clearly an actual human face. Dude has giant deer antlers even though, again, we live in a desert nowhere near forests so it couldn't be a Wendigo or anything. He's just staring at me from the tree for however long. Probably only 10 feet from me. Start freaking the fuck out because of course I did. Almost slip off the room and died trying to crawl back into my room. Lock the window. Cover it up with the blanket I'm using as curtains, and start crying under the covers. Panicking texting my friend about how I'm afraid I'm gonna get murdered. Fall asleep 2 hours later. Nothing there in the morning showing that anything was there. My friend brought me holy water and dirt the next day. It's the thought that counts. Only other person I told was my sister for nearly a decade. Trying to convince myself it didn't actually happen and I'm just crazy. Already showed the signs for onset paranoid schizophrenia according to counselors and other kids so I went along with that. Greater than. Haven't seen a spooky stories thread in a while, so I'll start. One of my favorite parts of this board was reading spook shit. Let's bring this back. Be me, 14 years old. Visiting redneck aunt and cousins in Oklahoma, middle of nowhere. Dad and younger sister came with me. So retarded they stopped educating their kids. Cousin my age is one of the dumbest people ever met, etc. First 2 nights of the visit are completely normal if not a little boring. Aunt is obsessed with guns. Keeps a loaded one in every room. WTF.jpg. Find it weird but just think it's redneckery. Day 3 rolls around, myself, my cousin and some of his friends do some fishing and swimming in a small pond near their house. We swim until it gets dark, just teenagers fucking around and having a good time. Keep hearing noises from the tree line at the other end of the pond. Faint smell of something really bad, like a carcass blowing its fumes downwind. Cousin says it's just deer. Okay lol. We pack into his friend's Jatracker and go back to cousin's place for the night. Bad smell follows us back to my aunt's place. Her horses seem really restless that night. I was kept up most of the night hearing them from the barn. Wake up at noon to an empty house. Bad smell is gone. So is everyone else. Cousin went to help with his stepdad's farm work. Dad went with his sister and my sister to a mall. Nobody woke me up. Bored as hell due to 1 bar of service on my phone. Fuck it, laced up my boots, decided I wanted to see more of my aunt's 15-acre property, since it'd only really been in her house the first few days. I'm done green texting now, fuck that shit. There was a small body of water pretty close to my aunt's house in her front yard, and just past that was about 80 yards of trees followed by a clearing that her horses usually stood in during the day. Be me. In the woods at night. Out here cause my friends didn't want to hang out. Nothing better to do. Only have a flashlight, my phone, a tarp, and some other stuff. Decide to fuck around cause I'm 16. Walk deep into the woods to the point I have no clue where I am. Find a neat little tunnel type thing, so I set up a door with the tarp. Make a hammock too so I don't have to sleep on the ground. Weird sounds from out in the woods. MP3 gets a little bit louder. Retarded, so I walk out and start trying to see what it is. Remember grandpa, if it's louder, it's farther away, if it's quieter, it's closer. Gets quiet. Fucking haul ass and hang out in a laundromat. Never went back into the woods again. Be me. Wake up. Eyes open. Don't remember falling asleep, but it wasn't a concern at the moment. When I woke up in that moment, it felt like I was being dragged back onto my couch. More terrified I've ever been in my life, crying and paralyzed, trying to scream, unable to move. Overwhelming feeling that I was somewhere else just now but I couldn't remember where. Whole experience lasts a few seconds. Finally can move and I jumped up looking for other people around me, but I was alone in my room. Somewhere around 2 a.m. In that moment I was scared of what they were doing to me and was trying to scream to beg them to stop. This was from a dead sleep. I wasn't dreaming, and I've had sleep paralysis many times and it felt the same in regards to not being able to speak or move, but this time was different. What the fuck happened to me? This was 7 or so years ago.